from nearby Hong Kong, Taiwan, and mainland China, so non-Asians don't exactly blend. Which is part of the reason the agency had been so eager for me to take on the Benghazi assignment to begin with. It wasn't just that Benghazi had become a primary supplier to various Southeast Asian fundamentalist groups whom, post 9/11, Uncle Sam had come to view as a serious threat. Nor was it simply my demonstrated knack for the appearance of natural causes, which in this case would be necessary because it seemed Benghazi had protectors among certain allied governments whom Uncle Sam preferred not to offend. It was also because the likely venue for the job would require invisibility against an Asian background, and although my mother had been American, my face is dominated by my father's Japanese features, the consequence of genetic chance, augmented years ago by some judicious plastic surgery, which I had undergone to better blend in Japan. So between the conspicuous ethnicity and the kata moves, karate had managed to put himself on my radar screen, and then I began to notice more. For one thing, he had a way of hanging around the hotel, the gym, the cafe, the terrace, the lobby. Wherever this guy was from, he'd come a long way to reach Macau. His failure to get out and see the sights, therefore, didn't make a lot of sense, unless he was waiting for someone. Of course, I might have suffered from a similar form of conspicuousness, but I had a companion, a young Japanese woman, which made the hanging around behavior a little more explainable. Her name was Keiko, or at least that was how she billed herself with the Japanese escort agency through which I had hired her. She was in her mid-20s, too young for me to take seriously, but she was pretty and surprisingly bright, and I was enjoying her company. More important, her presence made me look less like some kind of intelligence operative or lone wolf killer assessing the area, and more like a 40 or 50-something Japanese who had taken his mistress to Macau, maybe for a little gambling, maybe for a lot of time alone at a hotel. One morning, Keiko and I went down to the hotel's Café Girasol to enjoy the breakfast buffet. As the hostess led us to a table, I scanned the area for signs of danger, as I do by habit whenever entering a room. Hotspots first. Back corner 1, table of 4 young people, 2 male, 2 female, dressed for a hike. Accents Australian, threat probability low. Back corner 2, karate, threat probability medium. Keep the eyes moving, complete the sweep. Wall tables, empty, window seats, elderly Chinese couple. Next table, 3 girls, fashionable clothes, confident postures, probably Hong Kong Chinese, young professionals on a quick holiday. Next table, pair of Indian men in business attire, sunny Punjabi accents. Nothing rubbed me the wrong way. Back to karate's vicinity with an oblique glance. He had his back to the wall and an unobstructed view of the restaurant's entrance. His seating position was what I would have expected from a pro. His focus on the room offered further evidence. I noted he had a newspaper open in front of him, although he wasn't bothering to read it. He would have been better off without the reading material. Then he could have scoped the room as though he was bored and had nothing better to do than people watch. Or he should have brought a friend, as I had. I could feel him looking at us at one point, and was glad to have Keiko there, smiling into my eyes like a satisfied lover. The smile was convincing, too. She was good at her job. Who was he waiting for, though? I might have assumed the answer was me. Only the paranoid survive, I think some Silicon Valley type once said, but I was pretty sure I wasn't it. Too many chance sightings followed by nothing. No attempts to follow me, no attempt to recognize my face, no hard-eyed, that's him kind of feeling. After over a quarter-century in the business and a lot of incidental training before that, I'm sensitive to these things. My gut told me he was after someone else. True, it wasn't impossible. He was only told where and when, with information on who to be provided subsequently, but I deemed that scenario unlikely. Not many operators would agree to take this kind of job without first knowing who they were going up against. It would be hard to know how to price things otherwise. If the matter had been local, say a triad dispute, it was unlikely a white guy would have been brought in for the job. The triads, Chinese crime syndicates with deep roots in Macau and the mainland, tend to settle their affairs themselves. Adding up the available data, therefore, and taking myself off the short list of possible targets, I was left with Benghazi as the most likely recipient.